here today to talk to you about making friends with your inner critic. Now, I brought my inner critic with me for this purpose, and it's letting me know that what I have to say might not be very valuable, that even if it is, I may not be articulate enough to express it to you in a way that makes it accessible, and it's also concerned that I might not look very good in this shot. Nonetheless, I have brought it along, my old chum, my inner critic, to help you learn about how to make friends with yours. Now, I want to pause first and say that there are a number of aspects of our humanity, basic processes that occur in our consciousness that we have trouble with, and the inner critic is one of them. And these parts of ourselves we tend to resist or to condemn or disown because we don't like what they do to us. This is the first in a series of pieces about how to make friends with these parts of ourselves so we can understand our human nature better and then function more effectively as full humans. So, your inner critic. It's the one that tells you that you are stupid and lazy and worthless and selfish and that you don't fit in or belong and nobody really wants you, or they wouldn't if they really got to know you, because you are a fraud and a failure and you'll never be good enough and you don't even deserve what you have anyway. It's the one that judges you and attacks your character and guilt trips you and suggests ways that you might like to punish yourself because of your basic inadequacies. Now, why would we have such a part? I mean, it seems like it's very counterproductive to have an inner critic. It makes us feel bad, and it gets in our way of being all that we want to be. But it comes from a part of ourselves that is designed to help us be exactly what we want to be. This part is often called the superego. The superego exists because we need a built-in mechanism in our consciousness that helps us evaluate whether or not we are succeeding at doing the things that we wish to do. From very early on in life, we learn by imitating others. We do the things that we see the people around us do. And so we need to be able to notice, I have an image of what I'd like to do. Now I'm doing something. Is the thing that I'm doing matching my image of what I wanted to do? That evaluator is your superego. And it's totally essential in order to learn by imitating, which we all do all the time. Now, early in life, we're also trying to learn how to fit in. Part of what we're doing is we're imitating others to learn how to be like them, to be members of our cultural communities engaged in the same kinds of practices the people around us are engaged in. We're trying to conform, to be a part of things. And so our superego also helps us evaluate whether we're doing a good job of that. Other people's superegos do that too. Other people act as external evaluators. So we've got this inner mechanism, but you've also got these external influences, parents, teachers, religious figures, older siblings, and peers, who are showing you how you're supposed to be and letting you know whether you're doing a good job. The problem is, they're not always so nice about how they do it. And so instead of just having a kind of nice objective evaluation, we have judging and criticizing and guilt tripping that we internalize as we internalize those figures as well. So our inner critic is this aspect of the superego that thinks we need to be criticized in order to be able to get things done or be okay or do a good job. Now, what do we do about this? I mean, mostly our experience is we don't want that part of ourselves. In fact, what we mostly want to do with our inner critics is reject them and criticize them. Just insult them. Like, they're clearly wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. You just shut up, you stupid inner critic. If you do that, it just feeds the inner critic, because you are just, it lives off of criticism. It thrives on it. And so if you give it that, it just makes it stronger. So I want to suggest that you can do something opposite. You can actually start to develop a friendly, warm, affectionate relationship with your inner critic. You can just love it up. You can figure out how to give it enough love and compassion that it becomes your ally instead of your adversary. And to do this requires a basic three-step process. The first step is that you have to assume good intentions. You have to assume that the inner critic is just a misguided figure who is trying to help you become more who you want to become, trying to make your life better and make you happier. But clearly misguided about how to do this, because anyone who thinks that criticizing you is the way to make you happier is probably misguided. But well-intentioned. So first, assume good intentions. Second, you have to try to find out, what is your inner critic's goal? What is it after? What's it trying to do through misguided means? And then the third step is, once you've figured out what its goal is, can you collaborate with it to come up with a better way to help you get where you're going that's more life-affirming and more holistic, less about beating yourself up? Let me give you a couple examples of how this might look. Let's say your inner critic tells you that you're lazy. Well, first you want to assume good intentions, right? And good intentions could mean like, oh, thank you. That's so sweet of you to notice that I'm being lazy. I guess you must wish for me to be more productive. You want me to be, more effective and efficient at getting the things that I'd like to get done. So thank you for caring about me in that particular way. That's assuming good intentions. The second step is find out what its goal is. So, all right, those intentions are good, and it seems like your goal is, am I right that you want to motivate me? You think that criticizing me by calling me lazy will motivate me to be more productive and efficient, which you want for me. Well, that's great. I want that too. I want to be motivated too. So thank you. I share your goal. We share that together. Now let's think about what to do about this. Okay, so first of all, I want to say I do want to get more done, but I think it's important for me to be aware of my limitations. I mean, there's only so much I can do. And so I want to be realistic about how much I can get done and how much in a particular period of time I can get done. I also want to acknowledge that I need rest. I mean, I need a certain amount of balance in my life. And so is it possible for us to figure out like what's most important for me to get done? Like what's the amount that if I got it done, I could say that that was enough and that I wasn't just lazy? That's the beginning of collaborating, right? I'm taking the inner critic's feedback and I'm using it to try to come up with a better solution. Let's say that my inner critic is telling me that I'm ugly. It says, you don't want to go out looking like that. No one will like you. Well, you can assume good intentions. Maybe the intention of the inner critic is something like, maybe it doesn't want you to get rejected. It's worried about you. And so it's trying to make you have a realistic assessment of that you don't look very good so that you won't be disappointed when you get rejected. So you assume good intentions and you figure out what the goal is. And the goal at this point is to keep you from getting rejected. And you can say, I share that goal with you. I hate getting rejected. I've been rejected before and it's painful. And so I don't want to be rejected either, but I'm worried because your suggestion seems to be that I just think that I look bad. And if I think I look bad, I think I tend to act like I look bad. I think it makes me look bad. I think if I act as if I look okay, then I actually feel better about myself. I'm more charismatic and I'm more likely to actually get accepted. And for that matter, if I just don't even try, then I'll totally miss out. And that's even worse than getting rejected. So maybe we could just assume that even though I don't look as good as I think I should, that I look good enough. And maybe that would be a good way to approach my social interactions. I'm collaborating. In both of these cases, I'm just trying to figure out how to get the good intentions and goals from my inner critic so we can work together to help me become who it is that I'm trying to become, that my superego is designed to help me to become. So if I start to see my inner critic this way, first of all, I can interrupt it anytime I want. I can be like, whoa, hold on, not helpful. But tell me where you're coming from. Okay, let's have a conversation. I can start off the morning. I can wake up and I can say, good morning, inner critic. Did you sleep well? How are you doing? So nice to see you again. What are your criticisms today? Okay, well, let's talk about them now and see where we can go with this. Being loving and affectionate and compassionate toward my inner critic in this way kind of diffuses its dysfunctional or skewed nature. It makes it more holistic. It reintegrates it into this function that it's supposed to have in my consciousness. And one really helpful byproduct of this is it makes it possible for me to also befriend my outer critics, because other people may criticize me as well. And if my inner critic is happy and loved and collaborative with me, then it won't activate as rapidly when somebody else criticizes me. And instead, I can, to my external critics, say, okay, I'm going to assume good intentions, I'm going to find out what your goal is, and then maybe collaborate with you to make the best possible use of your feedback to help me become who I actually am here to become. Don't knock aspects of your humanity that you are troubled by. Figure out instead how to make them your allies and make good use of them.